Welcome to the Esthetician Coach podcast, where passion meets strategy. I'm your host and esthetician coach, Amber Boone, and each week we're talking strategies, solutions, and mindset to build and attract your best life and career yet. Welcome back to the Esthetician Coach podcast. Today, I'm so excited. I have Leah Argento, the National Sales Manager for LightStim with us today, and she's going to share a little bit more information about LightStim. We're going to talk about what sets LightStim apart from other LED therapy and what actually LED therapy is. So we'll go ahead and dive in. Leah, thank you so much for being here first.
Thank you, Amber. It's so exciting to be here with you. I really appreciate the opportunity to kind of shed some light, no pun intended, STEM, and also on LED therapy and what it can do.
I'm so excited to learn more. I first fell in love with red light therapy in the treatment room when I realized how valuable it was, even after just one session.
Yep, absolutely.
So it's amazing. So for listeners, though, who may be new to LightStim, can you tell us a little bit more about LightStim? What sets LightStim apart?
Absolutely. So LightStim we are the largest manufacturer of LED therapy devices that are both safe and, most importantly, efficacious, because they really do work. Our lineup includes domes, professional panels, we have handheld lights, and we also have full body recovery beds. And we offer these in a variety of models for treating aging, acne, and pain. So we're a family-owned business. LightStim has been around for more than 25 years now, and we truly lead the way in innovation and engineering in this space. It's an organization that I'm very proud to be part of. And I have to tell everybody a little quick story. I actually own a LightStim Pro panel. As an esthetician myself, I bought it back in 2018 because I truly believed in the technology and in LightStim therapy particularly. And so I was a big fan long before I started working here.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a big fan of LightStim as well. But what I didn't know for the longest time is that it does help with pain.
Absolutely. Now, there are very specific wavelengths of light that help pain. But yeah, we offer a Pro panel, a handheld device for home use, and then also a full body recovery bed. And all of those use the deep infrared wavelength, among others, to treat pain specifically.
Okay, so you have specific devices that will treat pain for people.
Yep, absolutely we do. And we often sell those devices to massage therapists, to physical therapists, to fitness clubs and gyms, to professional trainers. So there's a whole market for those LED devices that is, different than aesthetics.
Yeah, and I noticed I was looking on the website and I seen the beds, and I didn't realize you guys had a whole entire LED bed.
Yeah, it is yummy and it works.
Yeah, I want one of those.
Well, if you're ever in California, if you ever find yourself in Southern California, come. We have a beautiful experience center and a private treatment room where we host our guests and customers and influencers, and they can have a bed treatment.
Amazing. Yeah, I may take you up on that when I'm out there. So how soon can you start seeing results with consistent use of the LED therapy?
Yeah. So you can start to see results immediately. One treatment, you're going to see results. However, with consistent use, according to the clinical studies that we conducted in order to get our FDA clearance, you'll see results in 8 weeks with our aging lights and 4 weeks with our acne lights.
Yeah, and that's something else I was going to ask you about. Do you have the clinical studies, or does LightStim have clinical studies that they...
Yeah, we absolutely do. So we have FDA clearance. We have something called OTC, or over-the-counter clearance, on all of our devices. We conducted clinical studies in order to obtain those clearances with our aging lights, our acne lights, and then again with our recovery bed, because we were actually the first company to receive clearance for full face wrinkles with our aging light. And we were the first company to receive FDA clearance for a bed, an LED bed.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's just more proof that, LightStim is really a leader and innovator and just never sitting still. Always trying to make improvements and create new products for health and wellness and supporting, human beings.
Yeah, and it's the device that Hydrofacial trusts. It comes with their machine.
Absolutely. We built the LightStim Ellipsa specifically for Hydrofacial. Funny enough, at the time, I was actually working at Hydrofacial when they were evaluating all the different LED manufacturers. And I mean, it was no surprise to me that they landed on Lightstim after evaluating them and then 3 or 4 other major competitors because they were just the best in the business.
Yeah, and I love pairing the light stem with hydrofacial. I think it's such a good treatment.
It is the perfect finishing touch to a hydrofacial and also any other treatment, that's similar, maybe a Glow 2 facial or a diamond glow.
Yeah.
It works well. We play in the sandbox with everybody.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what are some of the best ways that providers can integrate it into their treatments or into the treatment room?
Yeah. Well, our estheticians and our med spas and all of our customers really do a pretty good job of integrating LED therapy into their service menu, right? So anything from a traditional facial, to a device facial. You can use it after peels, after most laser treatments, after dermaplaning. You can use it after microneedling or RF microneedling. It's really almost no treatment you cannot incorporate it into. And it's great. It's the great finishing touch for all of those treatments. But one thing I'm sorry, go ahead. Do you have a question?
I was going to say, so what does it actually do after like a microneedling session, for instance? How does that help during the microneedling session?
Yeah. So it's going to do a couple of things. Number one, you're going to be generally have a lot of redness following a microneedling treatment. You can even experience some swelling or edema. Some people do. So using the Lightstim Ellipsa or the Pro panel, it's going to immediately start to bring down that inflammation and pull that redness out of the skin. And the other thing it's going to do, because it's going to warm up the skin very gently, it's going to help with product penetration. So any serums or growth factors or peptides or hyaluronic acid that you're using, that you're microneedling into the skin, it's going to help to drive it even further in.
So if they're putting on a serum, would you advise to put it on before they put the light stem on or wait till after their treatment?
So there are a lot of our competitors recommend not using any product on the face before an LED treatment.
Okay.
We know that with a Lightstim device, if you're using a clear product, especially a hyaluronic acid serum or a peptide or exosomes, we recommend you put it on your face and then put the light on top. And it's going to help the product to penetrate and kind of drive it even deeper into the skin. There are some products that we, with an abundance of caution, do not recommend you use until after your LED treatment. And those are more active ingredients, products that have retinol, maybe vitamin C, anything that has like a metal, like a copper peptide. We say, do your LED treatment first and then apply those after.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Basically, it can be combined with any other treatment.
Literally almost anything. But a place where I see an enormous opportunity for a lot of our estheticians and med spas and all of our customers really is creating new revenue streams by selling LED packages. LED is a beautiful standalone treatment. And I don't see enough estheticians especially offering it as a package. Sell a package of 6 or 12 treatments and let folks come in and sit under the Pro panel. It's a 20-minute treatment, and that will create whole new revenue streams for you.
I love that.
Yeah, right? I mean, and it can be self-administered. You can create almost like a light lounge, if you will, where you've just got a nice comfortable chair with the panel hanging over the back of it, and folks can come in, jump in the chair, and just self-administer a treatment. And it's a great way to attract just a whole kind of different demographic, a whole different audience too.
Yeah, and it's just like you said, it's a whole another stream of revenue coming in, and who wouldn't want to go sit under a red light therapy once you've experienced it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's not that expensive. People, I think it's a very affordable treatment for just about everybody.
So is the panel that Lightstim has, now, is that one of the panels that can help treat with pain? Could it double as anti-aging and pain, or are those two separate devices?
They are two separate devices. So we actually have 3 different models of our Pro panel. We have one that treats acne. It has 4 wavelengths, blue, and then several different red wavelengths. We have an anti-aging panel, which has 4 different wavelengths. One is amber, which is very unique to LightStim, and then 3 red wavelengths. And then we have our pain panel, which has 4 different red wavelengths that includes a deep infrared. And that's where we really get that help with the pain management.
Okay, very cool. So really, you could have one for pain, one for anti-aging, one for acne. You could have a whole
Yes,
setup.
you definitely could. What I like to recommend when I've got like a full service med spa perhaps on the phone and they're asking, which one should I buy or which 2 do I need? Do I really need all 3?
Right.
We're always going to recommend the anti-aging panel. And then if they're also offering massage therapy services, we're going to recommend the pain panel because that can be incorporated beautifully into a massage service. And then we'll tell them, you know what? If you're going to hold off on one, hold off on the acne and sell the client an acne handheld to take home and use because they can spot treat with it. And that daily consistency is really, as we know as estheticians, is really what's going to work best for acne.
Okay.
So that would be the way that I would recommend it to a professional.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask too. Do you have to be a licensed professional to purchase the LightStim devices?
You know what? You do not. So we have a consumer website, which is lightstim.com, and we sell all of our products direct to consumer on that website. And then we have a second website. It's lightstimpro.com, and that's for our professionals. And they can buy all of our products at wholesale for their treatment room and also then to retail to their clients. So I have, for example, many high-end med spas, plastic surgery offices that not only use our bed, use our panel in the treatment room, but then also retail the panels and the ellipses and the handhelds to their patients who can afford it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So how do you recommend using the LightStim Pro panel versus the handheld versions for home use?
Well, so this is the way that I like to recommend them if I'm understanding your question correctly. A professional needs a Pro panel in their treatment room because of its versatility. And then ideally, they would be retailing the handhelds for their clients or patients to be using at home for that maintenance and that consistency. And that's the way that I would recommend it. Now, oftentimes we'll have estheticians, right out of school who are just starting their careers, and a handheld may be the only device that's in their budget. And
Right.
so they'll buy 2 and they'll use those in their treatment room. And that's terrific. But eventually the goal is to trade up to an Ellipsa or to a Pro panel. And the reason is because when you're holding those handhelds on the face, right? And you're covering about a 3-inch section of the face at a time to really give that client a nice full coverage, it's going to take you twice as long to deliver that LED treatment than it would if you could throw a panel or a dome on top of them. So your time is money too. So that's my recommendation. Pro panel in the treatment room, handhelds for home use.
Okay, I agree. Yes, you always want to be making the most of your time and be efficient, or as efficient as you can be.
Absolutely.
But it's good that you have options.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing I love about LightStim too, is we have just the perfect, I think, array of products in our offering. We have just enough to give everybody exactly what they need, but not too many so that it's overwhelming.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I agree. And so I love that LightStim is, to me, a more holistic approach in anti-aging.
Yep, absolutely.
So that's probably one of my favorite things about it, because there's no injectables, or not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just a different approach that actually is effective and works.
Very, very true. As you said, there's nothing wrong with injectables. I love my Botox every quarter, but the reality is not everyone does, right?
Right.
And there's a lot of folks out there who are looking for more holistic, non-invasive ways to combat aging and feel better about how they look. And an LED is the perfect antidote for that. Everything that we do, our treatments and our devices, they're environmentally clean and environmentally friendly. They're non-toxic and they're non-invasive, and they're also very user-friendly. So it's really the perfect device for someone looking for holistic approaches.
Yes, that's one of the things I love about it. But like you said, you can also use it if you are getting Botox and injectables. It's only going to benefit you in the long run.
Absolutely. You can, in fact, throw a panel over somebody right after their injectables so that you can make sure and reduce any potential for bruising.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah, yeah. And you need the pro panel again, because right after injectables, as you probably know, you're not supposed to lay down, right? For at least
Right.
4 hours. So they're sitting up in their chair. So you just wheel your pro panel over. You use the long articulating arm and the panels are hinged. So you can literally kind of mold them into, around the face and get really close to the face, as close as you need to, because proximity matters.
How far does it need to be away from the face?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. This is a subject that I love talking about, because sometimes I get crazy when I see images on social media where the panel is like a foot, like 12 inches or even 6 inches away from the face. It's really not effective.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, ideally, you want to be 1/4 inch to 1 inch away from the skin in order to get the most and best benefit and to see the best results quickly. And that's why you'll see a lot of, like I said, you'll see a lot of images and videos on social media, and they have these like big square panels over the client, and it's 6 inches or 12 inches away from their face, and they're not really getting any benefit with that.
Right. Okay. That's good to know.
Proximity matters and number of diodes matters. It's also very important. Just yesterday, the New York Times Wirecutter did an article, and they evaluated 11 different LED devices, and they picked the LightStim anti-aging handheld as their favorite because it's packed. And those were their words, I think, jam-packed with diodes. We get as many diodes in there as close together as we can. And that really gives us the results that are worthy of the LightStim brand name.
Are there any contraindications, or is there any skin type that can't use LightStim or LED therapy, or that should avoid it?
So yeah, we don't have a lot of contraindications, and we often like to call them precautions. But there's not that many of them. I think most of them are pretty common sense to an esthetician. We'd like someone to be off Accutane for at least 6 months. If they're pregnant, we want them to have a release or a note from their doctor. Do not recommend anybody who's taking photosensitizing drugs or using any photosensitizing products to get under the light. And we also say avoid suspicious lesions, just really kind of the usual things. But there is one skin condition that we caution on, and that is somebody who has melasma that is triggered by heat or warmth.
Okay.
So not every form of hyperpigmentation or melasma is triggered by warmth, but if you know your client and you know that hers or his is, then I would avoid LED therapy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about melasma because I struggle with melasma. So I'm always going back and forth. I haven't really noticed it making it worse when I use LED LightStim therapy. But yeah, I just wondered what your thoughts were on it.
Yeah. And it may not, because yours may not be as heat sensitive as
Right.
someone else's. If yours is being triggered by other things, for example, hormones, it may not be sensitive to the warmth of the light.
I was going to ask you, so are there any new devices in the pipeline that you can share with us?
Ooh, that's a really great question. And I would love to be able to spill the beans, but I can't give you any details. But I will tell you this. Very, very soon, we will be launching a brand new product this year, like this summer.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And then that will be followed by 2 or 3 more new products in early 2026. Also working furiously on some new international approvals. So we're really looking at more international expansion, which is a big thing on our list for this year. And then I'm also actually later this month, stay tuned, because we are launching a new school program.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah. One of the things that we're really passionate about at LightStim is education. And we created a a brand new program that we're going to roll out to aesthetic schools. There'll be some criteria, of course, but we really want to make sure that we are partnering with our schools and educating our future estheticians on exactly what LED therapy is and is not. Me personally, I can only speak for myself. It bothers me tremendously as an esthetician and as an aesthetic educator that there's so much misinformation out there. So we want to stop it in its tracks.
Yeah, and I love that because I do think there needs to be more education in schools because a lot of times, you're an esthetician too. We go through aesthetic school and we do learn some things, but we're mostly just learning to pass the test and we're not getting, all of the education that we should be. But I think that that's nice that you're adding that component. So what type of education do you get when you purchase on the pro side of LightStim as an esthetician?
Yeah, great question. We actually have an incredible 3-hour online certification course, and it's self-paced, so you can, complete it at your leisure when it's, when it works for your schedule, and you get access to that as soon as you purchase a professional device from us. And then there's also there's a 1-hour introductory training, and that is perfect for front desk staff or maybe the doctor or, clinic owner, somebody who maybe isn't involved with actually administering the LED treatment, but needs to have knowledge of it, right? Especially if they're talking to patients or they're going to recommend it. So we've got a little something for everybody.
Yeah, that's awesome because sometimes, the receptionist or the office manager, they're talking about it, but it's great to provide them with education as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And now the 1-hour introductory training, it does not offer a certificate at the end, but the 3-hour, the certification, which is for treatment providers, that does, we issue a certificate. So that's always a nice, opportunity to print that and frame it and hang it in your office. I think patients, clients, they love to see that, committed to our continuing education.
Yes, I love that. So let's see, what is something in your personal skincare or your wellness routine that you can't live without?
Well, I have, I didn't say this earlier when we started, but before I came and joined LightStim, I had a 10-year career at Hydrofacial and loved every minute of it and still believe wholeheartedly in the hydrofacial treatment. And so one of the things when I sadly left their employ and I had to hand my hydrofacial device back to them, I immediately went out and purchased a hydrofacial membership. And I go to the local esthetician, one of my favorite ones here in Chicago, and I get a hydrofacial every month and can't live without it. My LED, I told you guys the story already that I actually owned a LightStim Pro panel before I even came to work here. So I've always been a big fan of LED and just love just even the evening sitting on my couch, I pull the panel over and pop it on for 20 minutes. And it's just so wonderful. And it's also very relaxing. It's a great treatment to do at home right before you go to bed. It really helps you kind of unwind and loosens things up.
Yes, I agree. So how many times a week should you be using it for best results?
So we say ideally 3 times a week minimum, but you can use it as often as every day. So there's nothing
safe to use every day.
Absolutely. Yep. But to answer your question about going back to the beauty products and routine, there's a couple of actual products, right, too, that I absolutely love. And I have probably used SkinCeuticals Triple Lipid for 10 years. It's my go-to moisturizer every day. Now, that relationship ended when Epicutis launched Hyvia. So now Hyvia moisturizer is my daily go-to, and I do not leave my house without it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Because I'm an Epicutis rep. I'm an Epicutis girl now.
Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about that. You are. Well,
yes.
It's truly one of my favorites. And then I think something else that I could never live without is the Alpha Ret by Skin Better Science. It's the retinol that my fair complexion has ever been able to tolerate my whole life. And I've been using it literally since the day Skin Better Science launched it. I got a bottle of it from the up here in Chicago the week it launched, and I've been using it ever since.
Love it. Love it. Any other skincare tips or tricks you can give us?
I am not a big fan of over exfoliation. I know lots of people exfoliate and peel and scrub, and maybe that's good for some skin types and some skin conditions, but I don't think for the average woman who doesn't have an awful lot of, too many concerns or conditions that she's dealing with, less is more. Especially as I'm aging, I notice less is more. So I'm very gentle with myself. And I think that works for me. And that would be my recommendation, especially for somebody who might be struggling. It could be that you're doing too much,
I agree. And when I was growing up, I suffered with cystic acne. So I thought I had to exfoliate. And I didn't realize that it was probably causing more because I was doing too much. And, like you said, as I've gotten older, I've cut back on a lot of exfoliation. It is necessary, I think, sometimes, but I think you can be overly aggressive with it as well. So you have to be careful.
Yeah, absolutely. And today we are so lucky. We have so many, there's so much more technology in products today, and you can get a really beautiful exfoliation by using like an enzyme, right? Or even something like the ZO micro polish, it's much gentler. So I just love that, in this day and age, we have so many more options.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you tried our enzyme exfoliating powder with our oil cleanser?
It's in my bathroom, Amber. I love it.
Because I love it for a gentle exfoliation.
I love it. I do.
I was going to send you some if you didn't have any.
Well, you can still send me some. I'll take it. I love it.
Let's see. And I wanted to ask, so what's the best way for everyone to find out more about LightStim and see what their purchasing options are, whether they're an esthetician wanting to add it to their treatment room, or maybe they're just someone that wants to add it to their home skincare regimen?
Yeah. So we have lightstim.com is our consumer site. And there consumers can land there, read all about our products and make a purchase if they'd like. And then lightstimpro.com is where our professionals can go. And you have to register, you have to sign up, and we get you approved, and you log in and create an account. And that way you have access to wholesale pricing and all the wholesale product options. And then once you do make a purchase, you get access to all of our incredible online education. So,
okay, nice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me and for being here today. I've really enjoyed talking about LightStim and learning a little bit more about it, some things that I didn't even know.
Well, awesome. Thank you. It was such a pleasure. And I'm always so happy to share about LightStim, because if there's one word I would use to describe it, our company, it's integrity. So
I love that. All right. Well, thank you, Leah. And I will put all of the links in the notes below so they can go and access that or have quick access to it.
Okay. See you soon. Thanks, Amber.